Really, I want to talk about kind of taking a step back and looking at some of these charts because all these coins have market cycles. And they're all at different stages in the market cycle. So, and this is really important. And I want, people that maybe aren't comfortable drawing a bunch of lines and triangles yet, I just want you to try to identify parts of the market cycle. There's basically you've got accumulation phase where people are, institutions and smart money start buying and essentially you're moving sideways. Then you've got markup is the uptrend. And then you got distribution. This was where they use the bots and they sell off really slowly. Try not to drop the price. So distribution and then mark down. Okay. And then basically it starts over. Accumulation, mark up, distribution, mark down. Same thing again. Same thing again. Every one of these is part of a market cycle. This is not the best chart to if you're here, if you have coins that are right here, basically this is a downtrend. All right, so you don't want, if you move your money around and you can swing trade from coin to coin based on where they're at in their market cycle, you don't want to be buying at the top. You don't want to be buying in the downtrend. You want to wait until you get to a point where there's an accumulation phase, where it's kind of moving sideways, boring. This happens to be a double bottom for ZRX, so it popped up real quick. It's not always, clear as day to figure out what part of the market cycle is, but in a lot of coins, you'll be able to find that. But what we can see here with ZRX is this is not necessarily, if you're anywhere in here, you're in a clear downtrend. This is not where you want to be adding coins. Okay, so now ZRX has hit some support, and it should see a little bit of a bounce because you've got some bullish divergence on the RSI. Essentially, you're going to get this pattern out of it. And we see this a lot. We're going to get, possibly a big bowl shape pattern. And down in this area is accumulation. Mark up. Okay, and then when it starts to top out, that's distribution. And then mark down is a downtrend. Okay, so give you an idea what chart looks good. And previously I posted this probably 2 weeks ago. And so you've got markup phase is right here. Distribution is at the top. Mark down here. Accumulation, clear accumulation. You're moving sideways. Not a whole lot going on. This is where, the really good traders, when they're swing trading, they'll add in this area. Obviously, you put a stop in place because nothing's guaranteed in crypto. But you can see you've got really good support back here for MFT. Then you found that same support right here. And then you get a little bit of a curl upwards. And so later on, this could essentially end up to be a cup and handle in the future, even starting from up here possibly, just depending on what the market does. But what we do know is that the downtrend basically has come to a standstill. So let's take a look real quick at the current chart. So you've got, and this is a daily, so it's zoomed out a little bit. But again, you've got your bull shape is continuing. We got a nice little pump out of MFT. Ran from 85 to 96 Satoshis. So that's, 10% or more. So that was nice. And if you notice, we'll probably get this kind of pattern out of it. If we don't, maybe we continue on and then we get it later. But what we won't get is this continuation of a downtrend right here. Chances are you're not going to just dump like this and something happens with Bitcoin. Even if it does, you keep your stop in place and you ride it out, wash, rinse, repeat, move to the next trade. So just to give you an example, let's look at Bitcoin real quick. Basically, we would have got this type pattern, all right? We would have think it would flatten out, and a lot of people were calling this at the bottom. Well, it didn't work out that way. However, your stop's in place probably here, and you get stopped out, and so the key is you're not taking all these losses. That's why you've got to use stop losses. Important part about being a trader is you've got to limit your losses. So you really want to enter trades where you have twice the amount of upside as you do downside. You always want the amount of your reward to be 2 compared to 1 of your downside risk. I mean, there's only 2 ways where this can go. I mean, when you open a trade, you're either going to go up or you're going to go down. So you got 50% off the bat, okay? BitTorrent token, let's just talk about this real quick because it's here. Okay, so here's your accumulation. Here's your markup. So what's next? You're going to get some distribution or some selling and a markdown phase. Okay, the way this crypto works is it doesn't just move straight upwards. It moves in waves. And you're going to have these market cycles. You can count on it. Even if you go on a 5-minute chart, you'll have 5 market cycles in a day. You go on a daily chart, you might have, 1 or 2 market cycles in an entire year. This is really important to kind of comprehend and understand. Let's look at a couple more charts. All right, Pundy X, good example here. All right, so you got this is probably distribution. I can't see what's going on back here, but probably distribution, mark down. So distribution, just remember, you're moving sideways after a run up. And this is where institutions, they don't want to just dump everything because they have so many coins that if they started selling huge, it would move the entire price of the market and they wouldn't be able to capitalize on a lot of the gains that they made because they'd be stuck holding a bunch of coins that have dropped in price. So they sell it off real slow using bots. And then you've got markdown. This is where retail investors come in. Markdown phase. Retail investors come in right here and they start selling. And they're basically trying to just get out without taking very many losses. And then you've got accumulation phase. So this is smart money, big money, institutions. They start buying down here. Their bots are slowly picking up, a little bit at a time, every day, every minute, every hour. They're picking up a little bit of coins. Well, then retail investors figure it out and they start to push the price up. So again, here you've got your market cycle. The time to buy is down in here, okay? Just generally speaking, macro perspective. So once you found good support, you start to move sideways, and then this happens to turn out to a cup and handle, so it's a little bit more complex, but not really. The key is, so you're going to come up here and just this pattern is going to play out in a certain way, and possibly move to the upside after this. So just keep an eye on Pundy X right here. You've got Litecoin. This is the 12-hour chart. So again, you can see you've got accumulation down here, you've got markup, you've got a little bit of markdown phase, accumulation again, markup, distribution, markdown, and then look how this looks. Okay, completely moving sideways. It turns into a cup and handle, got a little bit of breakout and had a retrace. I haven't looked at Litecoin lately, but you're gonna at some point, just depending on how strong the support is, which is pretty good at this point. You got pretty good support in here. You can see this is the 12-hour chart. You got all this support. It's bouncing. So it's gonna take a lot to break lower. So again, if you're buying in this phase, you're gonna see, and it's really about being patient. These are probably the best type of trades for most of the people in the group that are super busy, that don't really have time to day trade. You're basically just looking for long-term trading opportunities. And so that's why I wanted to cover this today. This again is an example of what you don't want. If you're holding XLM here, like this looks terrible. Like this is headed straight down. It's going to find some support here. It's going to turn around. But the key is when your opportunities are MFT, nice bowl-shaped rounded bottom. I'm not saying go buy MFT right now. I'm saying find the charts with where you can find there's accumulation going on. Basically everything's consolidating, moving sideways. You see a slight uptick in price. A lot of times you want to look at the daily chart, 12-hour chart on these, but find some of these where long term it's really found its bottom and it's starting to move into mark up phase of the market cycle versus XLM, clear downtrend. ZRX, downward sloping descending channel. If you move your money from these coins right here, if you're in a downtrend, move it to something else that's bottomed out. You'll have a lot better chance of getting a pop out of it. I have a lot of people in the group, and I see it, like you have to, again, not be so attached to these projects right now. These projects aren't really producing a lot of news on purpose. They can come out and put out a bunch of news right now, but for what? It's not really going to help the price very much. Now, Tron, everybody believes in BTT. Everybody's super hyped up about BTT. You have to at least recognize that a lot of people are buying into the idea. Justin Sun is a master at marketing. This market moves in cycles. Just think about when, not too long ago, it was a couple months, XRP was all the talk. Everybody just was super pumping XRP at that point, and then it kind of fizzled out. And you get these coins at Waves. Waves was another one. Everybody was like, Waves just kept going and going and going. Now no one's talking about Waves. Trons right now. So you got to get in during the hype, and you got to get out, basically right before the hype ends. Like you got to be able to recognize, like there's this mania phase going on right now where this coin is going to the moon. It's going to X amount of dollars, and and possibly some unrealistic numbers. Just the way this market works right now, this is a huge bear market. 14 months we're working on, and you just have to know that the downward sell pressure is there. And for one of these cryptos to just start this huge uptrend that lasts forever, Tron's the exception right now. And so you just know that trying to find the 1 in 100 is tough. So you got to basically make safer trades. So avoid opening up positions in downtrends. I buy, and the reason why I'm not really in this market very much right now is because I want to see Bitcoin in a little bit more of a confirmed uptrend. So I want to see from Bitcoin. Let me just show you this real quick. Okay, so let's just say Bitcoin goes down a little bit. I figure maybe 2,400, 2,500. Okay, but then it's going to go sideways, and there's going to be some run-ups. But then we're going to get this slow, steady curve upward, and it's going to last for a year or 18 months or 2 years. This, as soon as I start to pick up on this start of an uptrend, after I feel like the bottom's in, I want to put some money in some different coins. And really the way my schedule is right now, it's a lot different when I'm day trading and I'm watching these charts 12 hours a day. That's one thing. But right now, I just want to put some money in some safe midterm bets, and then maybe day trade a little bit of time. I think this market's going to head lower. Are we going to get some run-ups? Yes. Of course, we're gonna have there's going to be a lot of opportunities to make some money, but the key is I don't want to see anybody lose any money. I want to thank you guys very much for your support. None of this would be possible without you guys. You guys have a great day. Thanks so much.